Hello there. Good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here today again, once again. Uh, I'm so happy to be here. Um, I hope that I'll be meeting wonderful people from different parts of the world, those in Africa. So, who is our first person here today? Hello, Paul Walker Bartholomew. Thank you for joining us today. It's a pleasure having you here on the platform. Hi there, Gold V Gold. That's a long name. And Harry Hayes Derrick. Thank you for joining us. Hello, sir, Mr. Paul. Good morning, sir. It's a pleasure to have you here on the platform. Hello, Junior Kamu Hireza. Thank you for coming here on the platform. It's a pleasure having you all. I'm so elated to be here because actually this today it will mark the end of our series on having the right mindset before marriage. Okay, and um, and it's the topic that we have here. It looks like things that we have talked about, but there is just some few things that are necessary for us to really trash. Okay, and they will really help us. Okay, so I'm happy to be here today, and I also believe you are the same. So today, actually, we want to go straight into business because we have limited time, and yeah, we would like you to please share the video with your friends, invite them to come and join us here on the platform, and that will enable us to um, be able to kick off. You know, it will help us to be able to do what we need to do right on time. So yeah. That is the whole thing. Yeah. So if you are with us, if you are here already on the platform, please settle down. We are going to be talking about things that you may have heard before, but it should be like a reminder to you. For some people, it may be totally new, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's a good thing that you are listening to this so that it will prepare you for the future. It will prepare you for the future. Yeah. So okay. Um, yeah. So let's just begin. I have some people who are also joining us here. I will just quickly make mention of your names. If I pronounce your name wrongly, please forgive me. I'm getting used to the different names here. So Mugalu Edwin Duncan, thank you for joining us here on the platform. Mbalu Christopher, thank you for joining us. We are glad to all see you here on the platform. Kanyego Joanito Olowo, thank you for joining us. Opio Senior, welcome, Opio Senior. It's been a while. We saw you the last, but it's a pleasure having you here once again. Um, Asasira Barnes, thank you for joining us. Agarura, thank you for joining us. Kajubi Ben Kajubi, thank you for joining us. Andrew Mutengu, thank you for joining us. Thank you, Gordon Mulundiwa. Thank you for joining us. Okay, let's begin. Now, we have been doing this series for the past almost, I think it's running to almost 3 months now. And why did we spend much time dwelling on this topic, having the right mindset before marriage? It's because we are praying and hoping and trusting that God will reduce the rate of divorce in our countries, in our societies. We are praying that this message will reach out to every youth out there to correct their minds so that they will not make mistakes that so many other people have made. Today, if not divorce, we have broken homes. If not for broken homes, we have separated parents. We have single mothers. We have single fathers, and it is a pain for us. I'll share this secret with you. When I was growing up, each time I was always excited to see people married. Okay, but each time I hear the story of a couple that is divorced or separated, it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart so much. And I believe that the same way it breaks my heart, it breaks God's heart so much as well. So we spent a lot of time doing this topic so that people can get the message. People can sit back and rethink this idea of marriage. Is it necessary? Is it worth it? So if you think it's really worth it, then it's worth preparing. It's worth having the right mindset towards it. If we do not have the right mindset, we will be making lots of flaws, lots of errors. We will be putting our head into rubbish. We will be hurting each other. We will be even the children that we will be giving birth to, we will be hurting their lives, hurting their destinies. Children are supposed to be born in a safe environment, in a conducive environment, not in a home where there is fights, there is quarrels, that there is no love, or there is lack of understanding between the husband and the wife. So we are doing this series for people to listen to, for lives to be changed. Okay, for our youths to sit back and really have a deep think. Marriage is not an easy thing. Marriage is not something that we should rush into. Marriage is something that we need to take our time carefully. We need to count the cost before we take running. Before we say, yes, I do. Marriage is something that is sacred, that is precious. It's like an egg that must be held with care, because when an egg drops, it breaks, and it is ungatherable. It's only God that saves marriages that are broken to come back together. All right. So this is why we are reaching out to people. Now, today's topic is I want to marry because I know what marriage is all about. I pose this question to you. Are you sure about this statement? Whoever you are, wherever you are, if you are planning to get married, are you sure you know what marriage is all about? Please, are you really sure you know what marriage is all about? Because marriage is not something that we can rush into. Marriage takes time. Marriage takes hard work. Marriage is something that we need to pay a lot of price, to really ensure that it is held in high esteem, it is preserved, it is nurtured, it is, protected, and it is something that grows over time. So please, this is a topic that is really, really serious. So I want to be asking you this question. Are you really sure you know what marriage is all about? Hello, my Sister June. It's a pleasure having you here on the platform. Thank you. Please, if you are joining us, please, we are glad to have you here on the platform. We are ending this series with this topic. I want to marry because I know what marriage is all about. Now, I have a few things I have listed that could help us. Okay. We understand that we have different mindsets. Okay. But to help us really understand this topic, I have listed a few things that could help us to really understand or know what marriage is all about. All right, so I have written down here, my first point here about marriage is this. Marriage is about understanding the reason why you are married. That is purpose. Marriage is about purpose. Marriage is about purpose. So many people just think they want to get married so that they can have a family, so that they can form their own family. Yes, that's what happens eventually. But what is the main goal? What is the main goal? What is the main goal? What is the main goal of forming that family? What is that family going to achieve? What is that marriage going to spell out to people out there? Okay. If the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. If the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. So if you are planning to get married and you don't know the purpose of your marriage, then there is a likelihood that you will abuse that marriage. There is a likelihood that you will abuse that marriage. I need to let you know, if you are a youth out there, or if you are planning to get married, if you are already engaged, if tomorrow is your wedding day, or if today in the next few hours is your wedding day, please call your spouse. Let everything stop. Let all preparation stop. Call your spouse to a corner and sit down. You still have time to think. You still have time to think. Because it's a serious thing. And the question that I would like you to ask your neighbor, your spouse, is, your fiancé, is this. What is the purpose of we getting married? What is the purpose of we getting married? Are we getting married because I love you, you love me? Are we getting married because, it's what people do when they are of age? Are we getting married because you fancy the lady? I getting married just because you want to be under a man? Are you getting married? There must be a reason. What is the reason? What is the reason? If you cannot sit down and genuinely think through this question, you may be heading towards a wrong direction. It may look so right to you, but you will discover on the long run that you took a wrong step. So this is why it is very, very important that you ask your partner, your fiancé, your fiance, this question: why do we want to get married? If you can genuinely and satisfactorily answer that question, you will be saving yourself. You should ask the question, what is the purpose of this marriage? Are we getting married because we want to satisfy our selfish desire or our human desire? What is that thing that our marriage will stand for? What will our marriage benefit people or other families around us, or even the society at large? What value will our marriage be contributing to the world around us? If you are not able to answer this question, I beg you, in the name of God, please don't get married. Do yourself a favor. Stop preparing for marriage. You must come to the point where you are able to tell yourself the whole truth and nothing but the truth. You can deceive other people. You can deceive the crowd, but you see, you cannot deceive yourself. And if you deceive yourself, of course, you know the consequences. If you're not able to answer this question genuinely, I beg of you, please do not take this step. Because if you take this step, you may be heading towards adding more trouble to the troubles that are already in existence in the world. What makes a marriage interesting really is having a purpose. Does your marriage have a purpose? Don't tell me that the purpose of we getting married is because you want to be husband and wife. That's not a purpose. Don't tell me you want to get married because, well, my body is in need of a woman. That is not a purpose. That is not a purpose. Don't tell me that you want to get married because you think you just have to, your mates are getting married. It is not a purpose. Please, please, get married for a genuine purpose. When I say a purpose, I mean something that is meant to benefit not just you alone, but benefit people around you, benefit both families, benefit your community, benefit the society, benefit your country, benefit the world. The reason why two of you come together should be to impact each other's world. It should be to impact and change, transform lives and nations. And this is a challenge to me, myself. This is a challenge to my wife. This is a challenge to all other marriages out there. If you are married for 2 years and there is nothing that your marriage has contributed to, first, your families, your in-laws, okay, then you should question that marriage, because your marriage should be impacting each other. It should be transforming each other. The transformation may not be quickly seen. It may be a gradual process, but there must be, some changes that you have seen, some changes that you can point at. And before we got married, this is how we were behaving. This is how we were what we were doing. But not, but when we got married, this is the change. This is the transformation that we are seeing. That's a good testimony. That's a good testimony. That's a good testimony. All right. So please, if you are with us, please, I'd like you to make comments. I'd like you to, if you have questions, you can ask your questions. If anybody's interested on the platform to answer that question, you are free to do so. Meanwhile, I'll keep on speaking because there's a lot of things to talk about. And yeah, that's one of the things that we are here for. We are here to share. We are here to learn from each other. All right. So the first point is marriage is about purpose. Marriage is about purpose. And the purpose I was talking about, basically, the underlying reason why two people should get married is to fulfill purpose. And purpose means something that brings about change, transformation, progression in the lives of people. Okay? The lives of people. Now, okay. Now, I will read a quote by this late man of God called Myles Munroe. In his book, the book called The Purpose and Power of Love and Marriage, he wrote, he said, don't ever make the mistake of telling God that you have nothing to offer. That simply is not true. God does not create any junk. I'll take it again. Myles Munroe wrote, and I quote, don't ever make the mistake of telling God that you have nothing to offer. That simply is not true. God does not create any junk. Now, let me interpret what that means. That simply means that if we're talking about marriage, right? Don't conclude that you don't have a purpose. Don't conclude that your marriage doesn't have a purpose. Because when God made you and God created you, He had an intention. He had something in mind. So, what am I talking about? If you think you don't have a purpose and your marriage that you get into doesn't have a purpose, then you are making fun of God. Because in the real sense, God did not create you as a junk. God created you as an important person, an important factor, someone or a couple that fits into a system for a particular reason, okay, for a particular purpose. All right. So that is our first point for today. That is our first point for today. So the first point is marriage is about fulfilling purpose. The next point I'm going to talk about is marriage is not about just being in love. But marriage is about walking in love. I'll repeat myself. Marriage is not about just being in love, but marriage is about walking in love. What do I mean? Being in love and walking in love are two different things entirely. Now, you will notice that when the first time you had this feeling for the opposite sex, usually what they say is that you fall in love, right? If you, this passionate feeling that you have towards the person that is so special to you, okay, you know, that feeling makes you do things that you don't usually do ordinarily. All right. I remember the first time I was in love with a lady. Things that I never did ordinarily, I began to do them. Okay. You know, I began to look extraordinarily good. All right. I began to, try to appease or to make myself presentable to that lady. All right. I went all the way. I saved money, to do lots of things. Now, all those things I was doing them because I was in love. All right. And the idea of being in love comes with excitement, comes with, pleasure. You cannot explain it. It just happens suddenly. Okay. Now, people who want to get married, they have the same kind of feeling as well. Both the man and the woman, they have this feeling as well. Okay, and there is nothing wrong with that. Okay, that is just purely emotions. Okay, all right. But you see, the problem with being in love is it is purely emotional, and emotions die out. Emotions die out. So the question is, if your marriage is based on emotions and that emotion dies, what will happen to your marriage? Your marriage will collapse as well. That should give you a rethink. That is a wrong mindset. The right mindset is that marriage is not about being in love, but about walking in love. Being in love is emotional, but walking in love is intentional. What do I mean? Even without emotions, you see this person, you know him or her for her weaknesses. The person may have hurt you, may have offended you, but you decide to forgive the person. You see the person's weaknesses. You know that this person has these weaknesses, but you are not blind. Your eyes are wide open. You count the cost of what will happen if I marry this person. Okay, say for example, the person does not know how to handle money. Okay, that is a weakness. All right, you see this weakness in this person, but you still say, okay, this person has a weakness, but I can still do something about it. All right, and you intentionally walk into that marriage, all right, with the purpose of helping the person to change his or her weaknesses. Okay, That is what marriage is all about. Marriage is not about just being in love, because being in love is purely emotional. It's just only based on emotions. But marriage is about walking in love. When you walk in love, you see faults, you see weaknesses, you feel hurt, but you decide to let go of those things, and then you decide to help the person out. You decide to forgive, and to move on. That's what marriage is about. Marriage is about two sinners. Marriage is about two sinners who decide to forgive each other and to live peaceably with each other. That is what marriage is all about. That is what marriage is all about. That is what marriage is all about. All right. I have not seen comments from our people here. I'm expecting comments from our friends and our, all those who are joining us today. If you are learning something new, please, I would like you to make your comments. If it is a blessing to you, please write. If there's something that is confusing, you can write questions, you can ask questions. If you have things that are bothering you, also you can also write it right there. So let's learn from each other. Okay. Then let's move on to the next point. Okay. Okay. Now the next point is, marriage is about having a friend that sticks with you every day of your life. I remember when I was growing up, someone advised me, if you want to get married, marry your friend. In fact, marry your best friend. What does that mean? I didn't have a best friend that was a lady. I had a best friend that was a guy. Was that person telling me to marry a guy? No. The person was advising me that I should marry a woman that will be my friend, my very good friend. Even if I can find a woman that can be a best friend, I should marry her. Why? Marriage is about having somebody as a friend all the days of your life. We must have the right understanding of marriage. If we want to marry someone, we must promise ourselves that the person we will marry, we will stick with that person for the rest of their lives. When we go to the altar and we make our solemn vows before each other, we say things like, I promise to love and to cherish this person, for richer, for poorer, in sickness, in hardship, and in good times, till death do us part. We say those things without thinking. We say those things without really considering those times when the person will be poor. How many of us can bear poverty? How many of us can bear sickness? How many of us? There are lots of things that happens to people. If you get married to the person and the person was well, the person was well to do, will you then run away when the person is critically ill or has suddenly, has contracted a particular disease, when you get married, you must think before you get married, you must think about those things. That will I be able to stand with this person come rain, come shine? This is a question that you must critically ask yourself, because marriage is about having a friend that sticks with you every day of your life. And you must first be that friend. Don't expect your partner to be that friend. You must be that friend to your partner. Okay? Why? Now, I have 3 quotations that I want to read out to you. The first one is from an American journalist. His name is Mignon McLaughlin. Mignon McLaughlin. He said, and I quote, "A successful marriage requires falling in love many times, always with the same person." A successful marriage requires falling in love many times, always with the same person. What does that mean? It means that the person that you want to marry should be somebody that you can fall in love with every now and then. You may quarrel, you may, but next time that you see the person, you fall in love again with the person. All right? That is what the person, what Mignon McLaughlin is saying. Now, another quotation says, another quotation from Franz Schubert. Franz Schubert is an Austrian composer. He said, "Happy is the man who finds a true friend, and far happier is he who finds that true friend in his wife." I'll take it again. Happy is the man who finds a true friend, and far happier is he who finds that true friend in his wife. What does that say? Someone who finds friendship in his or her spouse will always be happy. Will always be happy. So marriage is about having a friend that sticks with you every day of your life. And the final quotation based on this topic, on this point, I'll read from. I'll read this quotation. Is from Martin Luther. Martin Luther said, "There is no more lovely, friendly, and charming relationship, communion, or company than a good marriage. There is no more lovely, friendly, and charming relationship, communion, or company than a good marriage." What is Martin Luther saying? Martin Luther is saying that the best relationship that you can find, is in friendship. Friendship that exists in a good marriage. Okay. All right. Let's see what our friends are saying. Okay. My lovely queen here is Queen Esther here is writing. She said, "Marriage is about walking in love. It's not about the emotions. These come and go. You cannot rely on temporary things." That's right. That's right. Thank you very much. She also said, marriage is about having a friend who can be with you through the thick and thins all the days of your life. That's also absolutely correct. Sister June, right, she says, one of the things I am learning is that before we commit to loving other people, especially in a marital relationship, we must first love God, who will teach us to love ourselves. I believe marriage requires two whole individuals. People here on this platform, let us dissect what June has written. Really, if we want to really love someone else, we must learn from God. We must learn from God because you see, you must have a model to copy. If you don't get the right model, then you will interpret or you will express love wrongly. So you must understand who God is. I'm not being preachy here. All right? I'm just telling you the whole truth. You must know who God is. You must understand that God is love. You must understand understand God squarely. If you do so, then that mindset you can also use to share with other people. All right? So she is saying that I believe marriage requires two whole individuals. It means, I believe she's trying to say that we must be full of love. We must be full of love. All right? And then it will now enable us to share with each other. Okay? I believe I have made sense right there. Arthur, what are you saying? I don't understand you. Who are you asking to marry you? Okay. June says, I believe that a successful marriage is built on purposeful commitment. Yeah, that's also true. Friendship is essential because true friends are open to each other. In true friendship, people do not cover up. That's right. That's right. That's right. Hello, Sister Toyin. Thank you for joining us as well. We are glad to have you here on the platform. We are talking about this is the last topic on the series, our series, having the right mindset before marriage. And the topic is, I want to marry because I know what marriage is all about. Now, quickly, the next point I want to talk about is marriage is about submitting to each other. Marriage is about submitting to each other. I want to take from the Holy Bible, okay, an understanding. As I spoke earlier, we have to have a model, okay, a model at which we can follow. All right. Now, in Ephesians chapter 5, verse 21, the Bible tells us there, says, submitting yourselves one to another in the fear of God. It's just a verse I brought out, but in that chapter, it was referring to both the husband and the wife. And they should both submit to each other in the fear of God. What does that mean? For a marriage to last, there is no argument. Both parties, there is no argument. Both parties must learn to yield to each other, and they must learn to respect each other. Now, the wife must submit to the husband with respect, and the husband must submit to the wife with love. Now, this kind of submission is a two-way traffic. Marriage, is about submitting to each other, and it is a two-way traffic. Okay, marriage can never be one-sided. You cannot say, well, I am the man, my wife must learn to respect me. That is a wrong mindset. It is wrong to think that way. All right? So the wife must not say, well, if really he loves me, at least he should do what I want. That also is a wrong mindset. Both of them, husband and wife, should learn to submit to each other, and then they will be able to get along very well. I want to read a verse. I want to read a quotation from this person called Sherry L. Dew. Sherry L. Dew wrote, "Neither man nor woman is perfect or complete without the other. Thus, no marriage or family, no ward or state is likely to reach its full potential until husbands and wives, until mothers and fathers, until men and women work together in unity of purpose, respecting and relying upon each other's strengths." When we submit to one another, we submit in the sense that not that we are depending on each other, but we surrender to each other in different ways. For example, when there is a situation, an argument, you must not always think that you will have your way. You must learn to compromise so that peace will reign. There cannot be two masters, two captains cannot rule a ship. If the husband is on his high horse, and the wife is also on her high horse, both of you will not. The marriage will not succeed. But one should be able to, relax. As one should be able to, allow the person, maybe the other, to have his way, all right, purposefully, just for peace to reign, all right, and then the other person will see that, okay, my husband or my wife is becoming understanding, and he or she will also follow suit. All right. So we should learn to submit to one another. It will really help us to, understand each other. Okay. The next point. Marriage is about working together as a team. Marriage is about working together as a team. As a team, you work together to achieve the same goal. You don't work together, you don't work against each other, If you do so, you are inviting catastrophe into your marriage. You should agree together to achieve something. It could be a target. For example, maybe at the end of the year, you want to, make a good savings of maybe a certain amount of money. All right. So you begin to work together. You begin to, save, you plan, you strategize, you see where you can raise money or profits from. As a family, you don't rely on one sort of income. All right. You decide to pool resources together from the husband, from the wife. You don't depend on the husband alone, or you don't depend on the wife alone. Both of you try to see how you can make, meet all your needs in the family. Okay? So, what am I talking about? You work towards, planning together to achieve the desired outcome that both of you have set. Now, you don't work against each other, for example, by overspending, the expenses that you have targeted. For example, you have targeted that what you will be spending for a particular month is a certain amount of money. Then suddenly some, what's it called? Supposed necessities arise, and then you think it is important or too important, forgetting that you have a goal, a target. All right. If you are doing that, then you are shooting yourself on the feet. You are working against each other because you will not reach that target. So marriage is about working together as a team. Let's look practically now. For now, there's World Cup, right? In the football team, the team members are working together to make sure they score a goal at their opponent's net. Now think about this. What will happen when they work against each other? The opponent will win them. They will be doing themselves harm. So marriage is like that. In a marriage, you don't work against each other. You say, hey, you did this to me, Abby. Don't worry, I'll return my own too. You retaliate. You don't retaliate in a marriage. If you are doing that, you are killing yourselves. Now think about this. How many of us watched the 1994 World Cup? If you did, do you remember the story of Escobar? Escobar, the Colombian defender who scored an own goal mistakenly. Even though it was a mistake, but it worked against his own team and they lost to USA. You know what happened to Escobar? Okay, if you know what happened to Escobar, then think about it. What it will look like when you work against your own marriage. All right. The next point, quickly. Marriage is about covering for each other's weaknesses, not making a fuss about it. Marriage is about covering for each other's weaknesses, not making a fuss about it. What do I mean? For those who want to marry, you will discover each other's weaknesses. Those weaknesses that will get you angry or frustrate you. Now, it is your duty not to make a big deal out of this weakness. Instead, it is your duty to cover that weakness with your own strength. Many marriages have turned sour because a party failed to cover the other's weaknesses. Now, when I am mentioning weaknesses, I don't mean sins. Okay? For example, sexual promiscuity is a sin. It has gone beyond, weaknesses. If anyone is continuously found guilty, with sexual promiscuity, then it should be addressed seriously. Weaknesses are not to be taken for sins. A weakness may not necessarily be a sin. For example, somebody who is slow to understand something, or somebody who speaks slowly, it could be a weakness. All right? Somebody who is not bold to express him or herself, that could be a weakness. Somebody who gets angry easily, that could be a weakness. Somebody who is obsessed with work or with money, that could be a weakness. Somebody who is not trustworthy, somebody who is fearful, somebody who is pushy, who wants something done and who is always pushing for something to be done, that could be a weakness. All right? Now, a weakness can lead to sin, we know. If you find your partner having a weakness, it is best to call your partner and say, this is an area you are weak. Then try to see how you can, manage that weakness or help each other out to make sure that the person overcomes the weakness. Okay? Don't make a big deal out of the other person's weakness. If you do so, it may bring about trouble to that marriage. For those who want to get married, please, we need to understand this. It is very, very important. Now, let's see what Myles Munroe says about this. Myles Munroe says, marriage is about two imperfect people committing themselves to a perfect institution by making perfect vows from imperfect lips before a perfect God. Isn't that something to think about? I'll read again. Myles Munroe, in his book, The Purpose and Power of Love and Marriage, says, marriage is about two imperfect people committing themselves to a perfect institution. What is that perfect institution? Marriage. Marriage is about two imperfect people, your husband and your wife, committing themselves to a perfect institution, marriage, by making perfect vows from imperfect lips, okay, before perfect God. All right? So, in other words, Myles Munroe is saying that you have a weakness. You don't blame the other for having that weakness. Try to be committed in making the other person, a better person. Okay? All right, great. The next point. Marriage is about maintaining old, valuable relationships and about building new ones. I think this is the last point for this topic. Marriage is about maintaining old, valuable relationships and building new ones. Okay, now, many of us know this verse in the Bible that says, "Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave to his wife, and they shall be one flesh." Is that not so? Okay. Now, that is to say that to many people, marriage means that you are separated from your families and you form your own family and you begin to mind your own business. Well, that is not true. That is not correct. In fact, marriage is about not marrying that person. When you marry someone, you also marry their family. What do I mean? I'm not saying that you marry the family, you bring the family to your house, and you need to live together. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm saying that when you marry that person, you marry everything that person values. And some of the things that the person values is family. And practically, everybody values family. Everybody values their friends. Before you came along, they had been existing, they had been living happily with their own parents, with their siblings, and with their friends. Now that they have gotten married to you or they want to get married to you, it does not mean that they are saying bye-bye to their family. They expect you also to be a part of that family while they will try to be a part of your own family as well. So that is the old valuable relationships. We must look for a way to maintain that relationship, that relationship is booming, is productive, is healthy, is is valuable. Okay, so if you are planning to get married, the right mindset you should have before marriage is that when you're getting married, you should also think about the person's family. Try to build a good relationship with the person's parents and siblings. It may be a struggle, yes, I know, especially with people who prove to be difficult. But try to build that relationship because on the long run, it will be beneficial to you as well. Building relationships for marriage is very, very important. Now, you may argue that there are several things that a part of the family are doing that does not please you. Well, that is to be expected because they are human beings as well. They have different mindsets. They have different belief systems. They have different values. Okay? Now, what we should do is, even if they have different beliefs, for example, you may be a Christian, they may be a Muslim, or They may even be of the same faith, all right, and but they believe different, but what's it called, doctrines, all right. So all you need to do is first try to hear them out, try to understand them, okay, try to understand their perspective, try to understand where they are coming from, okay. So when they are speaking or when they are arguing, just be calm, listen. And when you listen emphatically. Sorry, listen with empathy. All right? Listen with empathy and listen with a questioning mind. Okay? Don't be judgmental and don't be too critical. You may try to get clearly what they mean by what they say by asking questions. When you say this, do you mean this? All right. So if you are doing that, you will get clarity from them. Okay. So when you listen carefully at what they want to say, all right, you have already given yourself points in the sense that they will see that you are a reasonable person and you want to learn, you want to go along with them. So when it is your own turn to speak, they too will be quiet and they want to hear your response. And then if you are not satisfied with what they are saying, you can negotiate. What do I mean? For example, if okay, in a situation where in Africa, for example, Africa is known to have they have this mentality whereby parents can come to parents or siblings or even friends can come to visit unannounced. All right. Now maybe in this day things are changing, okay, but at least in some families we still see those kind of things whereby some friends or some siblings or even the parents can even come knocking, unprepared, unplanned. All right. Now if that happens or that has been happening and you don't like that, okay, what can you do? You can talk to them. For example, you can say, "Oh, I love it anytime you come visiting. It gives us pleasure. It shows that you value us. We also love you. But each time you come without letting us know ahead, we don't prepare well to receive you. So I think it will be better for you to tell us ahead when you be coming so that we can plan for your coming. By doing that, you are negotiating. Now they may also think, oh, that's sensible, that's reasonable. Maybe that's why I'm not getting what I'm getting, what I'm supposed to be getting from you. You know what I'm saying? So they may change their habit all because of that. So it is really, really important that we build relationships. And relationships takes time. Relationships takes time. All right. So yeah, we have done justice to that, and I think that should give us a clear understanding of that point. Okay. Now, the last thing I want to mention is marriage is also about building new relationships. What do I mean? So you see, when you get married to someone or you're planning to marry someone, you should also think that marriage will lead to meeting new people, meeting new couples, all right, and forming new friends as well. Okay, for example, you may change your environment and move to another environment. Because human beings are social animals, you need to socialize with those people that are there. So what am I saying? In other words, your marriage will lead you to make new friends with other people from areas of work, of leisure, of different areas. All right. So marriage is about building new relationships, and these relationships are supposed to actually help strengthen your own what's it called, marriage as well. So relationships are important because relationships helps to make marriage also more interesting, because you will learn, we learn from each other, and also we strengthen each other as well. We encourage each other, we strengthen each other when there are needs as well. Relationships helps also to cover for those needs, the needs that they both of you cannot give to each other. Marriage also, building relationships also gives you that opportunity to fill in that gap. So yeah, this brings us to the close of our topic today. Let's see what our friends are saying or are writing. Okay. June says, okay, on the issue of submission, June says people tend to look at submission as being inferior, but I see submission as a means of letting one's gifts or strength shine. If a man is not strong in financial management, then allow your wife to be in charge, as it will do you all good. That's right. That's right. Actually, submission helps a lot, in the sense that not just only about gifts, about strengths. When you submit, actually, that is a strength right there. When you submit to the person, it means that you know that you can do something. But because you want the person also to be a part of what you are doing, you allow the person to do it. That is a strength right there. The person knows that you can do it, but the person will respect you more when you allow the person to do whatever it is that you want to do. That is submission is a powerful tool in marriage. Thank you, Sister June. Thank you very much. Yeah, Esther writes, marriage is also about building relationships and being socially mature in terms of relationships with each other's parents, siblings, or friends. Yes, yes, yes. As I have mentioned earlier, relationships are really, really good. But if you're planning to get married, you must also think carefully about the kinds of relationships that you want. The relationship that you want to build, the new relationship that you want to have with new friends or new couples or new families, should be that which will strengthen your own marriage, not to pull it down or to rob your own family, your own marriage of its own good. Okay? The reason why we make friends is because we benefit from each other. Okay? Not to pull each other down. All right. So thank you for joining us today. Today marks the end of our topic on having the right mindset before marriage. And it has been almost about 3 months, if I'm not mistaken. We'll be talking about this topic. We have looked at it from different angles. We've invited friends and we've talked about it in different ways. From the women perspective, from the men's perspective, and universally as well. So if you're joining us for the first time, please try and look at our past messages. You can go to our Facebook. I mean, you can go to our Facebook. On Facebook, go to overcoming stigmatization page. You will find all the videos there. Overcoming stigmatization, or also on Character Aroma Project. The NGO that we run. Please, all the videos are there. Also, you can find it on YouTube as well. Just find Esther Kuganja on YouTube. You will find all the videos as there. Actually, Character Aroma Project. You'll find all the videos there. Thank you very much for joining us today. We are great. We are happy for you. I mean, we are happy that you are with us today, and that you benefited from us. Action point. The action point for this message today is to rethink your idea of marriage. Rethink the idea of marriage. For those who are planning to get married, are you really prepared? Are you really prepared? And for us who are already married, rethink the purpose of your marriage. If you are not living for that purpose, it is high time we changed our mindset and we began to live for the purpose of our marriage. Thank you very much for joining us today. God bless you all. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye.